What is the kindest thing that someone has done for you? The smallest, simplest gift that you received from someone that changed the trajectory of your life, or your day, or your month, or the trajectory of someone you know. I was going to talk about something else today, and then I received an email from a newsletter I'm subscribed to by a man called Ozan Varol. I hope I pronounced his name right, who is a literal rocket scientist. He writes this newsletter about interesting things, and he talked about in today's own his grandfather receiving a pair of shoes from a teacher and how that basically changed the trajectory of his grandfather's life and made him able to achieve better outcomes, which then impacted his own life generations later. And it got me thinking about how a lot of the time we feel like we need to make big grand changes. And I think I've talked about it on a previous episode of this podcast about how we're always looking for the big thing that we can do that will change the whole world, that will change everything and make everything perfect and better. And we often feel like if we can't do that, then there's no point in doing anything. But this story, right, is just a great reminder of how something as simple as giving a poor boy a pair of shoes can change his life. So in the story, his grandfather was able to remain in school because someone gave him a pair of shoes. Otherwise, he would not have been able to remain in school. And these are the little things that can really go beyond our wildest imaginations. This is the idea of the butterfly effect, that one small, tiny thing somewhere can have large, far-reaching effects elsewhere. Some people also think about it as the ripple effect. You do something for one person today, and that little thing that you did for that one person can go far beyond what you think. And because we don't always see the other side of those little things that we do for other people or even for ourselves, we feel like maybe it's not as important as finding the cure for cancer, for example. But what if the nice little thing you do for that random person is the thing that leads them to do something else, maybe for themselves, maybe for other people, that leads to so much change that you can't even begin to picture? What this story that I read today reinforces for me is I don't have to change the world. I only have to make something better for one person. If I can do that for one person, then it could reach multiple people later. But I only need to focus on the one person who is in front of me at the moment. Is it giving some money to someone who is begging on the streets? Is it buying them a meal? Is it sitting down with someone and giving them a listening ear? Is it giving somebody something that you know they desperately need without waiting for, oh, the government has to do it? I mean, yes, we should hold the government accountable for things that they need to do that they're not doing. But if there's someone on your streets where you live in that does not have access to something that they should, and you can do something about it, how about you help that one person? You can't help everybody, I know, but you can help one person with something. So help one person with something. Not all of us will start foundations. Not all of us will build huge, massive things. Not all of us will create non-profits that impact thousands of people. But every single one of us can do one thing for one person today. I started thinking about what are things that people have done for me, gifts that people have given me that seem tiny or insignificant in that moment, but literally changed my life. And there have been many of those incidences, or, well, incidences sounds like a bad word, but there have been many of those events in my life. I think about when I was struggling with depression and my self-worth, and someone who didn't know all of the story just sat down with me and gave me time and just listened to me, and how that made me feel loved and appreciated and actually changed how I thought about my life. Literally, I mean, it wasn't just that one conversation, but it sparked something and it started something. And it was just a conversation. It was just them listening to me. I also started thinking about how have I done this for other people. Again, I know that I can't think of every single thing that I have done for people and how it has impacted their whole lives, right? But I remember someone sent me a screenshot of a tweet because I'm not on Twitter, that someone tweeted and they said that when they were trying to get into UX research, I spoke with them and helped them with their first project, and it really helped them in getting jobs and other kinds of things. And when I was doing that, I wasn't thinking about this person's whole entire future. I was just trying to help them in that particular moment. And it's such an encouragement to myself. Not like I need all of that to continue helping people, but knowing that you can do something for one person that impacts their life and the life of the people around them is a big deal. And I hope that that encourages you today to do something kind, give somebody something that, even though it may seem insignificant to you, may mean everything to them. Bye. A quick reminder that I am accepting questions for the podcast. If you have any questions that you'd like me to cover, any things that you'd like me to talk about, please fill the form. I'm going to put the question form in the show notes. So, yeah, bye. Thank you for joining me on today's episode of A Couple of Things. If you enjoyed this episode or found any part of it insightful, don't forget to share with your friends on your social media, and be sure to leave a comment or a review if you can on your podcast listening app. Thank you.